What's up, YouTube? This is Let's Talk Horror Movies. Here with a new movie review. Today I'm reviewing Bambi the Reckoning, which stars Roxana McKee, Tom Mulheron, I apologize, and Nicola Wright. And it tells the story of a mother and son who are attacked by a mutated deer who is looking out for vengeance. So this is the next film in the Poohniverse, the Twisted Child universe. The first was Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, which I have a shirt. I still need to get a lot more stuff from the Pooh. There's a website to buy a bunch of shirts from past and current and future stuff. So I'll try to leave a link there if you guys are interested in that. But anyway, so I just came back from the screening from AMC Burbank 8. It's an AMC theater in the mall out there for the Q&A with director Dan Allen and cinematographer Vince Knight. And it went great. It was a great night. Been excited. Wasn't sure if we were going to get another Q&A, because this one kind of the seating, this one didn't get as many. It got more theaters when it got on for certain areas around me. But I just wasn't sure. Like, as long as I got to see the film, but it would have been cool to see a Q&A, because I went to the Peter Pan one earlier in the year, and that was really cool. That was at the big AMC Burbank 16. But this was a cool experience. It was a sold out crowd. Dan Allen, Vince Knight there. I'll get to that. But yeah, this was a great time, and I'll show you got a poster, signed by Dan Allen and Vince Knight. So that's a really cool thing. That one will be framed along with my Peter Pan one, which I still have to do. But so Peter Pan, or Bambi the Reckoning, was one that I felt like was a risky but bold take, in the sense of, like, the risk here is if Bambi doesn't let himself look good, then movie's not going to work. And for the budget they're working on, it's a bigger budget than from where they began, but this is still it's still risky, because you look at, and I talked to Vince and Dan about that. Look, you look at, Winnie the Pooh, you were able to do with that what you were able to in the first, you had to do something in the first one, but the second one made what they were trying to do in the first one, but with a bigger budget, obviously, in terms of what the characters are supposed to truly be. Humanoid stuff, not just like people in masks. And Peter Pan was a serial killer, so there was some supernatural element there hinted at, but ultimately it was a grounded film. Here you're dealing with an animal creature that to do practically would be literally impossible to. And the moderator asked, what would you have thought about, what was your process going to? Would you have done someone in a suit? And Dan said, no, that would not have been my pitch, for sure. So they knew going into CGI, they only had 15 days to shoot this. And they did a really good job. What I'll say about this film, it's simple, but it's good simple. Like, it's a fast-paced creature feature. Has that Jurassic Park. Dan Allen also, it was inspired by The Ritual, which is on Netflix. I still haven't seen it. In The Host, which is a Asian horror film, monster film, that I had still not seen, but I remember wanting to see it. I remember Roger Ebert talked about that movie, and it's one I wanted to see, but I haven't got to see that one yet. But from what I've heard, that was pretty good. So those were an inspiration. I think Cujo was another inspiration from what people were mentioning. So I think so it is. This is probably the most audience, like, the more, it's still dark and has its kills and stuff like that, but it's the more accessible, I guess, of the films. It's not as, I wouldn't say as weird, like, but it's still, it has its humor in place spots, but it's a fairly serious movie, but in a way that it's not like Peter, like, it's in the mix. It's like Pooh 2, but it's in the middle of Winnie the Pooh 2 and Peter Pan Neverland Nightmare, whereas Pooh 2 is definitely its own thing, and same thing with Peter Pan Neverland Nightmare, but it's in the middle of that, what Bambi is. Cinematography really stands out. It's a very dark-looking film, but the color grading that Vince Knight does here really makes it stand out. It's a really nice, distinctive look from from all the other films, and I really think he does a good job on that. It's tough to do that, I think, especially in low-budget films, and I think that's very important for your low-budget films to have just to look good, because at least it has a visual language that you look at and okay, they understood what they wanted this film to at least look good, even if the other things don't come around. Even for me, like, I can still love like a movie. I could be mixed on a movie with the story, but if its visuals are really good, it's still a visual medium. I know I was going all over the place with that, but movies is a visual medium, so I want it to look good and have it stand out. The reason this movie had to probably be fast paced because you're in the woods most of the time, so you need things going on, to be fair too. But it's effective at what it does. I think cast Roxanne McKee, who plays Zaina, I think she does a really good job as the mother to Benji, played by Tom Mulheron. I think they have good chemistry, enough to what you need. Roxanne brings that motherly figure that you want in a mother, and she's in, like, whereas the first Blood Honey, you had a bunch of teens. The second one, you had adult, like, older people, like you had, Christopher Robin, but they're still younger. Like, they weren't like adults, like, or that's the way it felt here. You didn't rely on teens the film. Like Peter Pan, you still had adult. He had a mix of that. Here the lead in terms of like a mother and son thing, that feels kind of different here from all the other films, and I do appreciate that. And I really dig what they brought to it. And there's some emotional stuff in here. I don't think you're going to get overly, like, not everyone's going to get overly emotional, but there's some emotional stuff in here that is relatable. So I think that really works really well. The kills are brutal. And there's good enough kills. It's not Peter Pan level gory, but it is there. It is definitely noticeable. It's there on screen, and it's awesome. But it is a creature, it does what it needs to. But also considering they also had half of their budget went to Bambi, so you're not gonna be able to get a lot. Like, I think in a sequel or in the Poohniverse, maybe you'll get something more like what you want. But they needed to be able to show the Bambi thing. I think is going to be the hardest. Is probably going to be the most expensive in terms of just allocating budget to doing him, and then you have to allocate it to like kills and stuff. I think that is probably going to be the biggest challenge. For as long as these movies continue to make money, it should be fine, but that's still going to be a challenge to find that balance. But I think they had the perfect balance here with the kills. Bambi himself looked awesome. He was ferocious, he was menacing. Love the teeth with certain shots that bring you to the camera and he's opening his mouth. There's maybe one shot in here that probably was a little rushed in terms of, like, there's a bathroom scene and he's just going kind of all over the place. There's one shot of that, and it was more closer to the beginning of the film in the house. That felt a little rushed, but again, that's more of a nitpick. I think with the budget, again, you're using $400,000 of your budget to Bambi here, and that's asking a lot on a low budget horror film. And I know some people are like, oh, you have to do what you can, and yeah, you do, but they put the effort in. They really wanted him to look as good as he can and menacing, this is all really shot at night, and it's effective, and it's a perfect atmosphere. Vince has said it was a hell working on, because it was like they were working at -3 degrees. So there's so much. Even Dan was saying, like, he asked some of the people who have worked with him, who on other films said what was the worst set to work on. And they said Bambi, and he was like, "Why, really?" Like, nothing against him. It was more of, yeah, we were working -3 degree, and at one point he was saying that all the cast and crew could the cast could wear like jackets, and oh yeah, when they filmed that was it looked ridiculous. Yeah, they couldn't do this. So unfortunately, for 2 weeks they had to do that, and there's some scenes they could not get through the mud, and things like that, or there's certain scenes they were trying to film but it was frozen. It was insane where they filmed, but they were able to do it, and it's impressive to how each movie gets better and better. So any negative I have with this film is that it is very fast. Like, my only critique really is it's really fast paced. So it just starts it pretty much starts when it just starts. So some character development stuff aren't completely, like Dan even said they had to cut some scenes out to make this more of a fast-paced film. So this movie probably maybe was 10 more minutes, but I think they understood Bambi is a creature feature, and they couldn't take that risk of making it even more like with more dialogue heavy stuff. And I would have been cool with it. You still would have got a lot of Bambi still. But I do like what we got here. And they said they also did an audio commentary for the Blu-ray 4K DVD. What I think the 4K will have it either way, because that's... But anyway, but it's going to have the audio commentary, which is really cool. I can't wait to hear more from that on them. I know I heard a lot from what they were talking about earlier today. But outside of that, I think Nicola Wright, I think, also gives a really good performance here. I think her character's probably be the more questionable for a lot of people understanding what they were doing with her. She plays her role really well. I think until like, it's something I should have asked Dan, but I was just wanting to talk about, about everything, like just overall about how excited about the universe, and just other things, just telling him how I felt about the movie. I thought it was good, and talking about, just trying to chat up and not trying to get into all like the details, because I do want to be excited for more, like what's more to come. But I think this is one. I think people will be asking probably about how, and maybe you guys know more, there's probably other people who probably figure, oh, I know what they were going for. There's hints in the film about with her, what's going on in terms of just like there's flashes of what with her, but it's again, I think maybe that's some of what was cut for the deleted scenes. So hopefully that will answer, but eventually maybe they'll answer it more in other films eventually. So we'll see. Honestly, outside of maybe one or two nitpicks with the CGI in terms of the probably one or two, and it being a fast runtime, so it doesn't breathe as much. And the character development isn't as strong as I think Peter Pan and Blood and Honey 2. But this is still a really good and fun film. But it still has that seriousness along with that fun. But it's not... I think the darkness is not to this level as Peter Pan, because Peter Pan is effing dark, and it is not going to be for everyone. I think people can enjoy this. Wildstar still has a dark tone. It's not really like weird dark or really going out there dark. Like, they're doing some messed up stuff. Like Scott has said about Peter Pan, that was based on French cinema. I know some other people have seen other things, but that's what his inspiration was French cinema, particularly inside High Tension, and I think in the UK its other name was Switchblade Romance, and Martyrs. I think inside Martyrs, Hounds of Love also. There's a few of them that he mentioned that were inspirations for Peter Pan, so that's why it was so kind of brutal in that way. And the story is just dark in itself. But here, there's so many fun moments too. There's a scene that just everyone was just like, fuck yeah, that was badass. That was awesome. It has to do with a carrot. I don't want to spoil it for you guys because it's an awesome scene, and overall, this is just shows the acting also is, like I said earlier, everyone does a good job. Some characters, like I think the actress play, there's an actress who plays, let me make sure to get it right, Samaria Mighty, who plays Harriet. She doesn't get a lot to do in the I wish she was in more of it. I think, but again, you need a cannon fodder, and eventually a lot of the but yeah, in the end, I think this is a movie that's, if you love creature features, I think you'll dig this. I think if you love the Poohniverse, aka Twisted Child Universe, you'll really enjoy this. Will it be some have already said it's the best of the TCU so far. I have it high, like the lows I have is Blood and Honey. I have 3.5, probably more of a 3 at this point. But I still enjoy this universe. So like I had Peter Pan out of 5, Blood and Honey 2 out of 4.5. This is Bambi's out of 4. Again, this is on a first time viewing. I need to I'm gonna watch it again at some point. I don't think I might get to a theater again, and because it's the closest is like half an hour, 45 minutes away, and I just that might be kind of asking a little too much to go out. I like I said, I really liked it. I give this a 4.5 or 4 out of 5, not 4.5. Again, some nitpicks here and there, but I think this is a great time. I had an excellent time here. Excellent time doing the Q&A. It was just getting to meet Dan, the director, and seeing Vince again after I saw him at Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare. It was a great experience. If you guys want to do these things, they're available. I think Vince did say there will be one for Pinocchio. I don't want to say that for a fact, but he said there at least be one. I can't wait. Poohniverse is not until probably next year. They start filming it soon, I think. But yeah, Bambi is definitely worth going out seeing. If you were interested in this universe, you liked any of the films, I definitely do recommend this one. Go check it out. So yeah, this is so did you guys like it? Did you guys hate it? Did you guys thought it was meh? Did you think it was just it was fine? Let me know what you thought in the comments below. This is Let's Talk Horror Movies signing off. Peace.